We are excited to bring you our conversation with the cast of the highly anticipated holiday blockbuster. Legendary filmmaker Ridley Scott returns to the franchise to direct stars Denzel Washington, Paul Mescal, Connie Nielsen, and Pedro Pascal. Gladiator II is set years after the Oscar-winning original. The still powerful Roman Empire is breaking apart at the seams under the terror of its twin emperors. We visited with Denzel Washington, Connie Nielsen, and Paul Mescal ahead of this week's big release.
It's being described as director Ridley Scott's best picture in years.
Archers ready! Release!
And a sequel worthy of its Oscar-winning predecessor.
Until you actually watch it, I don't think you get an idea of what type of effort and intention was put into this period piece.
It made our job easy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Really?
I mean, he built Rome.
Yeah.
So all we had to do was put the gear on, you know, affect an accent, if you will, or not, and be, and do.
And rage is your gift. Like the great Achilles, never let it go.
Academy Award winner Denzel Washington plays Macrinus.
I gave him to you. You let him live.
And you got what you wanted.
I always get what I want. Why did you let him live?
An arms dealer and one of the richest men in Rome, who lusts after power and control of the empire.
You will be my instrument.
I will never be your instrument in this life or the next.
It's about bloodline, it's about legacy, it's about all of those things. Gladiator II is about what's left behind after Gladiator I, so you have to acknowledge the spirit of it.
You can join me and fight for a freedom far beyond these walls.
Paul Mescal plays the son of Russell Crowe's character Maximus from the original film.
My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius.
His character Lucius finds himself under the control of Macrinus,
A gladiator can buy his own freedom.
who was using the former Prince of Rome to his advantage.
Do you remember the day when we were in the outskirts of Morocco at the kind of regional coliseum? Was it one of
Right, the smaller one. Right.
He had set up 8 cameras. The cameramen are all dressed in costumes, so you can't really see them. I remember looking, I was like, if I can't act in this environment, it's game over. Hang up the boots. It's because he sets it all up for you, and that's I think that's the genius of Ridley's direction. I think.
I played in the NFL for 11 years, and I always, created this distinction between the regular season and the big Super Bowl game. Is there a certain level of intensity when you're working on a project of this scale with a director with such vision?
I didn't feel it that way because what is amazing is he has this large vision.
If you will not have your mother's love and take your father's strength.
Connie Nielsen returns to the franchise after nearly 25 years.
Most fighters won't survive.
Cases. You must help him.
As Lucilla, the loyal daughter of Emperor Marcus Aurelius, and the mother of Paul Mescal's Lucius.
Lucilla, shall we show mercy?
Mercy.
Everything is a living organism with him at all times. Everything is being changed at all times.
In real life.
And that is the genius of working with Ridley. He wants you to bring it on set, try this out, try that out, and he leaves the space for it.
It's almost like you're describing some of the greatest coaches of all time. They don't coach based on what they feel. They coach based on the skill set of their players.
Absolutely.
That's
and
right.
You're saying that's what
They're
Ridley
playing
Scott
to your
does.
strength.
Should we have a shot here?
Nielsen is talking about 86-year-old director Ridley Scott. The filmmaker has been wowing audiences for decades, but this project may be Scott's most ambitious.
I want you to touch on your relationship with Ridley Scott and why you feel like he is a one-of-a-kind director.
He's a master at what he does. I'm pretty good at what I do too. So there's a understanding and a freedom, I'll knock him down, set him up. And that goes both ways. Sometimes I'm setting him up for him to knock him, the whole thing or whatever. It's inspiring.
What was your name before you traded it for a Roman one?
You'll never know.
Paul, you step on this set with talent oozing out of individuals like Denzel and Connie and Ridley, and many others. Pedro.
Yeah.
What did you learn?
I think I learned very quickly that being sycophantic with people that you admire, there's no room for it. Like Denzel, Connie, Ridley, we're all going to work. Like it's not I'm not going to set to learn, I'm hoping to learn, but I've got a job to do. I've got to be at this.
Work.
I'm going to work, and I think that was actually the big thing that I was nervous about to begin with. Trust me, internally, there's loads of that, like, imposter syndrome going on. We've got a movie to make, we've got a legacy to uphold with this film. I've got people who I admire, but they're also my colleagues.
If you don't mind, he's actually really being self-deprecating here because Paul came on that set and I don't think for a second he wasn't fully aware of what kind of burden was being placed on his shoulders, but he also wasn't, if he was terrified, we didn't know
I didn't see it.
Do you see what I'm saying?
I understand.
Yeah.
Fighters from the stable of Macronus of Thysdrus.
Gladiator II is...
Gladiator II is Gladiator II. It sits, it stands on its own.
I agree.
Gladiator II is Gladiator II.
I agree. Connie?
Massive.
Paul, what say you?
Gladiator II is...
A hit.
And on that note,
On that note, I think we're good to go.
oh, touche.
We're good to go. Talking about it. Look at that. This film is amazing.
Yes,
We
it
were able
is.
to get a sneak
Yeah,
peek.
yeah.
And I just love the fact that they are so aware of the magnitude and responsibility of Gladiator II. And they came not only to play during that interview,
really did,
but
yeah.
they showed up on scene, as we all know.
Yes, yes.
I've been imitating moves all weekend. We played wiffle ball in the park, and then Teddy went off on his bike, and I just had the wiffle ball bat. And before you knew it, I was like,
Nate, I love seeing the dynamic between the three of them. And I love Paul saying, look, I had a job to do.
Yeah.
Because you still know it's Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
You know, no matter how good you are, you still know that. But to all look at it, he's my colleague too, and I have a job to do.
It's almost like I don't have time to be a
love it.
fan.
Yes, yes.
I got to show up and show out.
Yes, and they do that.
And they do that. You're right about that. Listen, our Gladiator Week continues tomorrow. We will hear from actors Pedro Pascal and Fred Heckinger and Joseph Quinn. Gladiator II will be exclusively in theaters this Friday, November 22nd. It's released by Paramount Pictures, part of our parent company, Paramount Global. And like Gayle says, run, don't walk to go see it.
this is a great
That
film.
good.
It is.